Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ashley with CourtReserve. It is a great day to learn all about some of our new features that have been released in the CourtReserve platform. Today is in the Zoom webinar format, so your questions are super important to us. So during the webinar, please enter those in the Q&A. So Kim is going to be taking us through the demo today, and Tim and I are going to be doing all of your questions in the Q&A. We are going to record this, and it will be up on the CourtReserve YouTube channel sometime by tomorrow. So if any of your staff or admins couldn't be here, please let them know that tomorrow it'll be up on the YouTube channel. Well, without further ado, thank you so much, Kim, for driving us down the new road of features today. Welcome.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Kim. I'm with the product team, and so we will go over the release that was put out last week. So all of this is available in your release notes if you're looking to highlight what we launched last week. But to go over it, we're going to start with automated refunds. So we've added automated refunds to the system. So you're able to process refunds automatically for maybe all of those reservations or cancellations that you know you're always going to accept. So to do that, you're going to start with settings over in your billing settings, and you're going to click automated refunds. So once you click automated refunds, you're going to be presented with the screen to choose what you want to turn on and all of the different payment types. So once you begin expanding these and turning these on, you can choose whether or not you're approving a refund if cancellation is requested more than X number of hours in advance. You can also set a maximum that you want to approve refunds for, so amounts not greater than a certain amount. You can also then, once you have these rules set, choose which type of payments you want to auto approve as well. So if you only want to auto approve court reservations more than 24 hours in advance with a credit card, you can do that. And then you're going to choose what the destination of that refund will be. All right, so then moving on. We're going to go to auto assist on the reservation. So what auto assist does, or auto assisting is reservation assist. Sorry, what reservation assist is, it allows the system to move your player to the next court if the court that they're booking becomes unavailable during the process of booking that reservation. So I'll demonstrate this in a few seconds, but to turn this feature on, you're going to go to your general settings under bookings. So bookings and then your general page. And then it's the third option from the top. And so you can choose to enable this for all of your membership types or only certain membership types. And then once you actually get into the member portal to book the reservation, this is how it's going to work. So I'm going to start my reservation here at 3 p.m. Today. And then I'm going to flip back over and book the same reservation. Sorry, what court was I on? Court 1. All right. So once I book this reservation, the system is actually going to push my court to the next court once I book the reservation. All right, so 3 p.m., 1 hour. All right, so I have been assigned to court 2 because court 1 is no longer available. So this should save your guests a little bit of time and frustration. So when they're going through and making those reservations, they're not maybe locked out or missing out on the opportunity. One thing to note with reservation assist, it's only looking at courts of the same type. So if all of my courts here were booked in the process of me booking that other reservation, it's going to tell me that there's no courts available. So it's only looking at courts of the same type that the player is trying to book.
Kim, I'm going to stop you for a minute.
Sure.
I don't think the audience saw anything. I didn't see anything on the member side, so it may have been a little confusing.
Oh,
So
okay.
So we never saw you flip over to the member portal for them to actually see it in action.
Okay.
So if you need to bring your screen into focus, all we saw was the admin side.
Okay, I apologize. It is the 1 second. I think it's my screen sharing ability within Zoom because it's in an incognito window. One
Yeah, you
second.
may need to resize and go back to the resizing like we were doing before, so that you can bring.
It's the one, you know what, let me,
Uh,
it's the, hold on one second. I apologize, everyone.
I bet we shared the window instead of the actual desktop, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
No worries. And we have a video that we can actually send after the webinar's over to all the folks here, if we can't get it to work either. So.
Yep. Now we're good.
All right. I'll do that again one more time for you
Please
guys.
do. Thank you.
All
Sorry
right.
for interrupting.
All good. All right. So let's try that court reservation one more time. All right. So let's book the reservation. We're going to start my reservation here. So that's court number 1 at 5 p.m. All right, there you go. So I've been assigned to court number 2 because court number 1 is already no longer available for me. So hopefully, again, that saves time for your members when they're going to book those courts. All right, Tim, are there any questions so far? Ashley, questions? All right, we'll move right along.
Oh, we do have a question.
Okay.
Can you refund multiple people at the same time? For example, we get rained out and I need to refund 54 players from a drill class.
Yes, so that's the beauty of automated refunds. So for that instance, if you're using a closure, you're going to want to enable closure cancellations. And so that is then you just want to make sure that you have auto approval surrounding multiple different payment types. So maybe you have credit card, just different types. And then once you do that cancellation, those players that are canceled from the event are going to then process automatically if you have the closure cancellations enabled. Just remember, or just note with that, the refunds aren't going to process automatically the moment that you do it. It does run on a time script. So it's done like every 30 seconds or something like that. So it might not be done immediately, but they will process automatically as long as you have closure cancellations enabled. And then you select to cancel that event when you're doing the closure. All right, so then the next thing that we have on our list is the create member improvements. So when you are adding a member to your organization and you click this add member button over in the on the left panel, you're going to get your regular create member window. And so you've probably already seen this if you do this a lot, but we now have a general tab that's going to be exactly as you've seen it before. You can also click through and add other important information like address. In this tab, if your organization does member groups and you have member groups enabled or are using member groups, you'll have another tab here for member groups to add them to. And then you can also do the payment profile as well. You can easily navigate back and forth or click the next button to get back and forth here. And so this should also, save you some time to collect that important information that you're looking for. You don't have to just create the profile first and then go to their actual profile to add in all of the additional important information. All right, and then we have event-specific waivers. So an event-specific waivers, we've added a way to add a waiver to specific events that your organization may have running. So like summer camps or things like that, if you just have one-off waivers that you want to add to an event, you can now do that. So you're going to do that by going to your event, and you now have a waiver tab under your event setup. So you can add any waiver that you have in your organization. It doesn't have to have signing rules or anything like that attached to it. You can just upload a waiver, and then once you upload that waiver, it becomes available. Once you add the waiver and you save, it's available retroactively. So if you add a waiver late, you forgot to add it or something, you already have players signed up, you can add this waiver and then it'll mark them as needing to have signed this waiver. And then if you have players that are going in to register on the member portal, it's going to require this registration in order for them to even process that payment or registration. Okay, and so then
Kim, if you could just after you finish each section, just ask if ask me if there's any questions, and that way I don't miss anything going forward. Okay.
Absolutely. All right, so the next thing we have on our list is also within events. We've added an additional feature under who's getting notified on a new registration. So this is something that you can set in your event defaults. In general, I think maybe a lot of organizations just have this set to all system users, and then this looks at the notifications under each of your system users to see if they're getting those event updates or who gets notified on registrations. We've now added a nobody. So if you don't want to see any updates on who's registering for this event, who's canceling for the events and things like that, you can actually select nobody, and the system's not going to fire any emails for you. And again, this is also a setting that's available in your default settings for an event.
No questions so far. You
All right, sounds good. So the next feature that we have is when you're actually looking at your event and you are looking at that attendance report that you want to download for an event, or maybe it's on the individual date on the event, it would pull some just generic columns, you know, and things that you wanted to see. But now we actually give you an output selection, so you can select which information that you want to see. We've also given you the ability to add in different custom ratings and things like that on here, so you could actually see what players are rated and stuff when you pull this information. So if you open that report from the high level of the event, it's going to pull you can actually pick which dates you want to search on here as well. If you're going to pull it from the individual date line, it's automatically going to pull in the dates from the one that you selected. So just a quicker way to get the actual information that you want and filter out any information that you don't want on those attendance reports. All right, any questions, Tim?
Nope, you're good.
All right, moving right along. So the next thing that we've added here on your events list, we've added a day-by-day view. So that was, we wanted to give you the ability to see all of your events day by day, filter those events. And so now on this events list that is in your, under your reservations tab, we've kind of converted this to our day-by-day view. So now you can search from a wide range of dates. You can select today, tomorrow, this week, next week. You can even filter this also. So I'm gonna just do an example, cardio, tennis, Fridays. So now I'm seeing all of my cardio tennis Fridays event through the end of May. And so I could even go here and I could update this just by this specific event day without having to go in and open maybe my event or multiple events and do different things for multiple events. I can see everything at a high level here, and I can make updates or register players as drop in or things like that as I need to.
I would like to add here, we have gotten some initial feedback on this, and we are going to be changing that date bar. Instead of this week and next week, it's going to be next 7 days, next 30 days. And we're also going to be adding an all here so that you could get back to listing all of your events. We've improved the performance. So even if you have hundreds of events, which some of you may, it still be very performant and allow you to do the search bar that will search across all your events. So look for that in the coming weeks. So that was some initial feedback that we have received and that we're acting on.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll move right along. So the next ones that we wanted to show you, many of them are app-based. So one of the things we've added on this release is within your events on the actual app, as an admin, you now have a notify players button. And so when you click this notify players button, you're going to have an option to select which notifications you would like to send out, whether it's email, text messages, if those are enabled. And then once we get push notifications, that'll be an option in there too. So you can actually send a notification from your app if you're on the court or it starts raining last minute, you're already out there, you're on your way in, just so players don't come out to the court or something like that. So you do have that option now in the app. Another app thing that we've added is you can register players to an event from the waitlist. So once you actually go to the waitlist for the specific event in the app, you're going to have this register players to event button. Once you actually toggle the players that you want to add to the event, this will become enabled, and then you'll be taken to your registration screen to register those players for the event. Any questions on these first two items?
No, but we had somebody do cartwheels across the screen.
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. Definitely should make things easier for people when they're not next to their desktop, for sure.
Yes, actually, I have a question. Do you have this for the individual reservations?
I think that was related to the previous feature around the day by day for events, and that didn't change. You can still go to reservations and look under your courts to see all of your individual court reservations. And the only thing that we added there was a day by day, because previously you only saw your events grouped, and then you had to expand to see the events day by day. So really the only enhancements there was to improve events to let them see a day by day option.
Okay, all right. So the next thing we have, we've updated the way that kind of the text message opt-in alert notification feature works. So for organizations that already had text messages enabled and they were already actively doing text messaging, you're not going to see much change except for your new customers moving forward. But we were out of compliance with the way people were opting in for text messaging. So we've updated text messaging to now require players to opt in. And so when you add text messaging to your organization, the next time your guests or your customers log in, they're going to be presented with this pop-up that asks which text messages that they would like to subscribe to at your organization. So they'll be able to subscribe to your marketing alerts and your system alerts. And so we're getting ready to make a couple improvements to this pop-up modal to make it a little bit more clear, but essentially your customers are going to have to choose to opt in. And then from an admin point of view, you can opt people out, but you're no longer able to opt them in, and you cannot disable the feature to not allow them to opt out of your text messages either. All right, any questions?
I think we're good.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, we have one just came in.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you notify players from the desktop by sending them a message like for rainouts?
I mean, there is already on the desktop version, there already is an email players function or a message players function. So you can email players right from the desktop and send them a message. We don't have the specific push or the text messages for the specific court, but you could always go to your you could always go to bulk text, and you could look for players for like a certain period of time on the day that maybe it's raining, and you could send them an alert via text message that way. If you do have text messaging enabled and those notifications are turned on for players, if you have the notification set for text messaging on cancellations, they would get a cancellation message for weather as well.
Yeah, I was just going to add that most of our customers use closures, and within closures, when you close down courts for rain or any other weather, there's an option to cancel. And once you do that, everybody that were on the court during that closure timeframe would automatically be notified with whatever notification mechanism they've subscribed to, whether that's text, whether that's email, and eventually push.
We have one more question. Will admin users be able to see those members who have opted out of messaging?
Yes, so we have added the ability to look at the opt-outs through reporting. So when you go to members in your reporting, you can filter by marketing alert statuses and text alert statuses. So this is a filter option. So you can filter and see if you only want to see your members that are unsubscribed, you can see who's unsubscribed. And then also within the outputs, I think it's at the bottom of the list. I do
It's
know
right there, Kim, where the new badges are.
Got it, by the new badges. So there are the outputs for the marketing text alert statuses and the system alert statuses. So you could drill it down that way if you wanted to filter players that way as well. All right. All right, let's move right along. So the next one we have is some updates to membership. So the first thing we did with memberships is we enabled a max capacity waitlist across all memberships. And so we refer to this at a high level as global membership waitlists. So now with a global membership waitlist, when you enable this, you can set your maximum capacity across all of your membership types. So previously you had siloed waitlists or currently you have siloed wait lists for all of your different membership types. If you have membership wait lists available, this now gives you the ability to look at your wait lists for those membership types in one list, and then also extend multiple membership offers, different membership type offers when you're making those offers. So, if you had somebody on the wait list for one membership, but you wanted to extend them the offer to 3 different membership types, you can now do that. So to do that, you're going to go into your memberships and your membership settings. Within membership settings, we now have this enable maximum capacity. So when you enable this, you're going to now see what's my maximum capacity for all memberships. You can set it to whatever number that you like. When you do this at a high level, you're going to get this new status bar that counts your total, and it's going to tell you how close you are to being full. When you enable this, it's also going to mark any of those memberships as full that also would now be full because you're at capacity. And so on our waitlist tab now that's popped up since I've added the membership wait or the global wait list, we can see all of the requests that we have for different membership types in one list. And then when we go to make offers, you now can do an offer based on multiple membership types when you extend those offers. All right, I'll pause for a second. Are there any questions? Tim, did you want to add anything here?
Yeah, there's no questions. Just one thing I will add is that we have trainers that are very proficient in, this is very high level. So we know that there may be more questions. We do have articles and videos on setting up waitlisting at the membership level that we can pass along to you. So if you are interested in that, just reach out to our support team via live chat support, and they will get those resources into your hands.
Awesome. Okay, and so then the other great thing that we added to the memberships area of CourtReserve is this membership status report. So really previously, the only way to go and, look at membership statuses and counts and things like that was to do your own reporting and figuring out those drill downs yourself. And so now we've done that for you, and we've created this awesome table for you within the membership section. When we released this last week, it did not have all this information on it. So our awesome development team actually went in and added some additional information here. So you can choose whether or not you want to count your family memberships individually or by a family unit. You can see that that information changes as I'm going through and updating that information. You can count members new and lost by unique or purchases. We've explained all of this in an article that we posted in our knowledge base. So if you go up here in the top right-hand corner, knowledge base, and then search membership status report, we break down how all of this works together and gives you the output of information. So make sure you go and take a look at that. We've really defined how new and unique members works and how the lost and unique membership works. So all of these different combinations we've outlined for you in that article. And then if you have any questions regarding that, you can also reach out to our support team. But within this actual table, all of these outputs are clickable. So you can go in and you can see all of your memberships and who's new, who's lost. You can click all this information and you can go straight to their profile if you need to do any further investigation. Tim, anything you want to add here?
No, I think we're talking on the product side about the one thing that's missing here is your number of waitlisted members as it relates to membership status. So we are looking at adding that, and we're also looking at adding some additional charting and trend reports so you can see how you're trending visually. So this is just the first step of some more advanced insights, but this is a great first step. And again, I encourage you to go out, as Kim mentioned, to the knowledge base to understand how this report pivots on all the different options.
All right. And so that's it for the high level stuff, but we were going to show you organized play and give you a demo on organized play too while we're in here. So organized play is a new feature that we've added to CourtReserve, so you can easily pair people up and put them out on the court. So to enable organized play, you're going to go to your add-on section. So that's at the bottom of settings, and you can click manage add-ons. And so now on the organized play section, up here, once you enable this feature, it's going to take you to your organized play setup page. So from the organized play setup page, this is really your defaults that you're setting. Anytime you have an organized play event, it's going to default to these settings here. You can choose what event types you want to designate for organized play, and I'll demonstrate that for you in a second. But you can, there's a lot of different features here that I'll take you through. There, again, there's a knowledge base article on what all of these settings mean. And so once you actually get into your event, excuse me, once you get into your event and you have it on an event that is part of a category that has the organized play enabled, you're going to check off this box here to tell it that this is an organized play event. And once you do that, you're going to be given a different set of restrictions for your event once you actually go and set up your event. So from here, all of your default settings from the previous page are going to load in automatically. You can go in here then and make changes to maybe the skill level deviation or the number of players that you want to allocate per court. You can also choose to allocate gender equally. So if you want to make sure that you have the same number of men and women play in your event, you can do that as well. All right, then once it's actually time to go and do your allocation, so your players, let's say your players have already gone in and registered, you now have this additional tab on your screen that's going to show you organized play and then all of your registrants that are part of your event so far. With organized play, you can also let players pair together, and if they've opted to go in and pair together before your allocation, you do your allocation, that'll show up here in this column. Once you're ready to actually do your allocation, it's a one and done deal. So once you click this button, you get a pop-up, are you sure you want to allocate courts? Because then you can't go in and start over again. So make sure you actually want to start that allocation process. Then you get all of your allocated players. From here, you can, so for this example, I had more players are registered than I had allotted to courts. So now I have some players waiting in my alternate area. I could go ahead in here and I could swap out players if I want to, or make changes and things like that. I can remove a player, I can add another player, and I can change my allocations and things like that. So there's a lot of flexibility here.
Make sure you add a player back to that slot before you finalize.
There we go. So you can
One thing I will like to mention here, two things. You will notice that the players are grouped by rating. So there is an algorithm in place that just doesn't put random people on a court, but it does randomize based on rating. So if you do choose to organize play at the rating level, then it will try to keep like skilled players on the court based on how your deviation is set. So if you just have a deviation of 1, then it will only put 3 and 3 5s together. So the deviation is going up a half step based on your ratings. So just keep that in mind. And then if you go back over there, also anything that anytime you remove a player, then you will see that they were subbed out by the sub icon that she's showing you right there. So you can see who was basically said, hey, I was allocated, I can't play. Then you will know who you basically subbed out. And you can allocate these players randomly and by sign up order. So if you want to just do sign up order, that's an option that you can do in your allocation order preference. So you guys get to choose that. So really cool feature. If you want to know more information about this and how to use it, we do have resources available.
Just real quick before Kim goes on, we have a great question that kind of fits right here.
Okay.
If you allocate and there's space for other players to register for the event, would you be able to allocate again and allow for more registrants to be placed on the court and paired together?
No. So the way it works right now is once the allocation is complete, your registration online closes. And then if you wanted to add additional players to the event, you would have to do that manually from the admin side. So that's a great question. Once you start your allocation, you can't go back. You can go back, but you just can't restart it from the beginning. So you can edit them from here, but you can't just completely wipe the slate and start over again. So just keep that in mind. Once you finalize that allocation, you then can send your players an email. This isn't automatically going to let them know that the allocation is complete or let them know who they're playing with. You can send that to them with additional messaging. Also, when you allocate the players, you can actually see that now on the member portal. So if I go in here and my allocation is complete, I've got 2 family members registered, but I can see here for myself, I have been allocated, I am on a court, and then this is who my partner is. And then these are the players that we're playing against on the court as well. So then you can see all of the additional courts here for the allocation. And then as far as who shows up on your court sheet, let's go over to my expanded scheduler again. And then all of those players that were allocated to specific courts are going to show on your court sheet from an admin side as well. Tim, anything else you want to add here?
There was something I wanted to add, but it has left me.
Okay. Also important, just to remember, yes, let me just add this one, maybe it'll answer a question that's on there. Right now, you can only do 1 round of allocation. So right now, what we would say is, do your first round of allocation and then, have people move up or move down based on win or loss, things like that. We are going to be adding the feature to make this multiple rounds. So you'll be able to choose how many rounds you want to do within that period of time. But right now it is just 1 round specific.
Yes, and for those on the webinar that are pickleball specific organizations, we are going to also be adding a phase 2 of this, which will allow score entry, which will also feed into the Duper integration and rating integration that we're doing. So if you wanted to do Duper nights as an organized play, you can do this. It would do the rotations, and then you'll be able to input your scores and feed the rating system of your choosing.
And right now, if you are pickleball, you can use this for pickleball play, correct?
Yes, I mean, yeah, you can use this. Again, tennis and pickleball work a little differently due to time constraints. So the tennis people may not need additional rotations because I could play, 6 to 8 games with each partner, and that's probably going to take me to a 90-minute to 2-hour increment. But with pickleball games being so short, rotational play is very popular. But for right now, players would have to work out their own rotation scheme. This is really just to allocate fair play the initial round. And then from there, if rotations are needed, they would have to be worked out among the player themselves.
So one of the questions that came up, if someone cancels after you've already allocated them to a court, will you get an alert as an admin that someone's canceled, and can you backfill from a wait list?
Great question. You want me to answer this one, Kim?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, so the cancellation process would work the same. So if somebody canceled, you'd get the alert. And then you could, just as Kim was showing you earlier, you can always pull people off of it would just show an empty court. So that person that canceled would be blank. And then you would just use the little swap arrows to backfill from your alternate list. And the alternate list is going to be listed by sign up order. So you will be able to you'll be able to just pull somebody in off of that alternate list that hadn't already been subbed. So that's why we put the sub feature there, the sub icon, because you don't want to put somebody in there that had already been replaced back into the organized play event. So that's why you get a little visual indicator there. So you would probably put Michael Chain in there as your first alternate for somebody that needed a sub.
Mm-hmm. And then once you actually sub those players out, you can email out those players too. So maybe you're 8 hours before your event or something like that. You can also resend out a notification to those players once you've maybe reswapped some additional players out, and you can tell them that the pairings have changed. Take a look at the update, but you can send the messaging around that as well.
Couple more.
There's also a question around 5-person rotations.
Mm-hmm.
When you set up if you go back to general info, and you go back down to when we did, there's obviously with pickleball, this is less likely in tennis. but your max players on court, it could be really anything you want it to be. And so if you want 5 or 6 players, then you can make that a 5-player court or a 6-player court, and the allocation will take that into effect, or take that into account, sorry, when it does the allocation. So yes, you can do multiple or more than 4 players on a court.
And right now this is available for free in beta. So, definitely go play with it, create a test event or something like that, and put some players in and play with it just to kind of see how it works. We do have an article up here in the knowledge base that takes you through the different steps as well. So you can kind of pair that with the first time that you're doing it.
Couple more questions. Do you know when it's going to not be in beta anymore?
Tim, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah. So beta, the beta period is strictly for you guys to try it out, give feedback, tell us what you like, what you don't like, improvements we can make. We're going to be doing this more and more with our more advanced features. It just allows us to get more organizations and facilities to try it and give us feedback. So right now we don't have a definite timeline on when it's going to come out of beta, probably sometime midsummer, but we do want to enhance it a little more and get some more feedback and get some people using it. So I don't have a definite answer on that one, but it's probably likely to be midsummer when it comes out of beta and goes to general availability.
Another question. Can people add to the alternate list after you allocate? We like to give players several days notice, but players may pull out a day or 2 before, or does it lock after allocation?
Yeah, so allocation, so the alternate list even is full registration too. So if you are registration for the event closes once you do that allocation. So you would want to make sure that you have all of your players registered before you do the allocation. You can again add players manually through the back end, but that is probably something that maybe we can look at in an additional phase of this, where you can still let players on an alternate list or something once we do it. But right now it's just anybody that wants to be added to the event after the allocation is complete, it would have to be done on the admin side.
And the questions keep on coming.
Let me address one thing too. For some of you guys that may be very interested, CourtReserve has a limitation right now where if you try to do an event and you want to do some type of mixed event, mixed social or any type of mixed event, you can really use this to really allocate, allow multiple people to sign up, men and women, and make sure that at the end of the sign up process, you really just want it to be an equal number of men and women. So this is a perfect way to do that, which is a good use case to use organized play, even just specifically to have that type of event. So if you just are running a Friday night mixer and you just want it to have an equal number of men and women out on the court playing together in some mixed matches, this is an awesome way to do that, because when you do allocate gender equally, no matter who signs up, it's going to go through, put 2 men, 2 women, 2 men, 2 women, all the way through all the courts you have. So just wanted to mention that as another maybe enticer to use this feature.
So the next question is, with the player levels, are those just entered by the players or from programs they play in if they enter their scores into the system?
So those are based on your rating categories that you have set. So when you're in the setup period, the setup part right here, you're going to look at what rating you want the system to look at. This isn't looking at your rating restrictions. As you can see right here, I don't have any allow rating categories that are blocking anybody from registering. So when it's looking at how they're actually pairing people together, it's looking at the rating category that I've assigned to the event. Within that rating category in the rating screen, you want to make sure that your ratings are in order by number too. So you would want to go in order of 2-5, 3-0, 3-5, 4-0, 4-5, 5-0 from the top down, because if you're out of order in the way that your ratings are displayed, it's looking at that in the skill level deviation. So if you have a number that's out of order, your skill levels could likely be out of order, but it's looking at the ratings in the player's profile. If they don't have a rating set in their profile for one of these categories, it's automatically going to assign them a 2-5 rating. So they'll still allow them to play, but they'll have that highest or the lowest level rating of that category.
There's a caveat to that. If you do have your rating restrictions, allowed rating categories to be, hey, I only want 3 5s and 4 0s in this, then anybody outside, it's just going to look like it does now. It's not going to let anybody without a rating, any 2 5s, any 4 5s, any 5 0s in there. So it's a way to still use rating category or rating restrictions But then also you just want to make sure you do allocate or tell the system that it's the same category. So you don't want to put tennis up there in allowed rating categories and then pickleball in your category.
You wouldn't want to do that.
Yep. So that right there would not allow anybody but 3, 5, and 4 O's to actually register. So then when it does the allocation, it's only going to be allocating 3, 5, and 4 O's on the court.
Yeah. And maybe from that perspective, you want to, do your max, or not max player, you would want to do your skill level deviation of maybe 1 so people can mix and play together.
One more question on this, and then we've got a couple on some future development. So
Sure.
The question is, can we run a house league where we have 4 groups of 8 doubles players, each playing against the other group?
So great question. It's coming. So one of the things you guys will get to see very soon is our league platform. Super excited to bring that to you guys, get it in your hands. It's completely separate from organized play. More information coming on that in the next couple of weeks. It's actually out of development and in QA and in closed beta. So we will be giving more information around the league formats, the flex leagues, the team-based leagues, all in the near future. So great question. Super excited to share that with you as we have more information.
And the other 2 questions will wait until we go to what future development's coming.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm ready to move into the coming soon section.
Ooh, I've got 2 good questions for you then.
All right. So the first things we've got in the coming soon section, first thing we have is court waitlist. So that is coming very, very soon. If you were looking at my screen in the add-ons here, you probably saw court waitlisting there. So it's just about ready to go. So we'll have that out very, very soon. So keep an eye on that. And then app push notifications, those are also coming very soon. You'll be able to do bulk notifications to your users. It'll be one of those things that even if they're not subscribed to text messages, you could still send them a push notification and things like that. So there's definitely some great things coming there with push notifications. And then the next thing on our list is pickleball leagues that Tim just mentioned too. So all of that is coming very, very soon this spring.
Okay, so our first question around future information is, what is the timeline for the integration of Duper into the CourtReserve system?
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, so let me give you an update on that. I know we announced that, both sides announced that in early March. Unfortunately, there was some leadership transitioning happening at Duper. And so some of the API work that was being worked on was temporarily put on hold as they work through that transition. I just had a conversation with them. It's of utmost importance for them as well as us. So we hope to have at least the organizations being able to pull in Duper ratings, restrict by ratings, build member groups by rating, and email and notify by rating here in the next couple of weeks. And then the second phase of that will be obviously the score submissions. So all of the score submissions that go back in and feed Duper will be a phase 2 of that. That's probably going to be early to midsummer.
The next question on future is, can CourtReserve pull ratings from UTR?
That's a spicy one.
Yeah.
So there has been talks as we continue to do. We always look at and try to align ourselves with amazing strategic partners in the tennis and pickleball world. So we have had some discussions with UTR and what we would need to make this happen. We know we have a lot of tennis clubs and tennis academies that would really love to see this happen. And so it is on our radar, and talks are, that they're in, but nothing has been finalized or no agreement has been made like the Duper agreement. So as soon as I have more information, or if we come to an agreement with UTR, you guys will be the first to know for sure.
When introduced, will we be able to send push notifications from the admin portal?
Yes.
And our last question. All right. And the last question, this is very exciting because I've seen pictures of this. Are there planned enhancements to the mobile member portal?
You want to take that one, Tim?
Oh yeah. This is probably one that I'm most excited about. we have a brand new design and player dashboard coming to the mobile app that's going to blow your minds. It's we've got some people on staff now that are helping us on the user experience and user design side. So we have that's top priority. And so you are going to start seeing some screenshots. We're going to start doing some actual interviews with some of our bigger clients, even some players, to get feedback. But yes, we plan on really improving the interface on the mobile app and making it much easier for the players to get to things quicker, and for you to be able to provide an even richer user experience for your players. So that's definitely something that you will get more information about in the coming weeks.
That's all, folks.
All right.
Any other questions? Oh, here we go. Will the mobile app be an update or a new app download?
So it's going to be part of the add-ons in the text messaging section. So if you already have text messages enabled, you can just go ahead and turn on push notifications. It'll be a feature that you can just add on without an additional fee, but it is part of the add-ons page. Yes.
The next question, will we be able to have a sign up for an event that doesn't require tying it to a court for club champs, for example, played on random dates?
Interesting question. I think that can already be done. I think, unless I'm misspeaking here, I thought that you could create I know that you have to have a date in an event, but I don't think you have to assign a court.
So Jack, if you want to reach out to the live chat team and ask them that question, they can probably send you back some helpful advice, and maybe we can help you guys out with that.
Yeah, maybe a combination of custom dates or something like that, but you should already be able to create an event without assigning a court and then assign it later at some point.
Tim, is there anything else you'd like to mention today about anything?
No, it just gave me a, you know, we are working on the ability to do anonymous public registration. So a lot of the hurdle that we've received feedback on is that players have to create and go through the entire CourtReserve account creation process to register for something at an organization. So we.
All right, did we lose Tim?
We may have lost him there. I can kind of finish maybe a little bit of what he was mentioning. So we are creating a way right now. We're working on the back end to try and develop a way for people that aren't part of your organization to have the option of registering for an event without having to create a CourtReserve account. So the first iteration of that would be registering for an event without having a CourtReserve account, you know, and then from there, possibly taking it to reservations and additional features like that.
I guess it was.
Am I back now?
You're back.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
You both dropped off there for a second, and I thought both of your internets in St. Augustine left you. I thought I was.
Yeah, one more I want to tell people about. We are exploring and going to be coming out with what we are labeling a CourtReserve Plus subscription. You guys are getting firsthand knowledge of this, but what we're going to be releasing and allowing clubs to do is, if you want to have a custom branded white labeled app and custom branded white labeled hosted web site or solution, then we're going to be able to offer you that. So for those that want your own app in your app store with your own logo and your own branding, and you want a website that you don't have to worry about hosting and developing, we have a solution that's coming in the coming months, I will say, that will allow you to do that. So super excited about that one as well.
Well, the questions keep coming. Any enhancements, the widgets, to allow quicker court reservations similar to an open table type look?
I think that.
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I think that one relates to what Kim was talking about with the anonymous events. So just like with open table, you don't have to have an open table account to make a reservation at a restaurant. So what we want to be able to do is, if an organization would allow it, for you just to be able to see within your website or, within a widget, to be able to see court time and just go in, write in and register and fill out some required information, pay and book. So that is something we are looking at.
Another great question. Will there be a way to have a partner show up on the registration for an event? Right now, people only show up on the admin side, I think, and you can't auto email the partner, only the original person who signed up for the event.
Maybe we should have just shown our whole roadmap, Kim.
Yeah, right? You guys are hitting everything that we have planned.
Yes. So I think is it Q2 or Q3 on the roadmap, but we do have team-based, partner-based registration coming.
Okay. Private lesson wait listing.
Let's see.
So for that one, I'm assuming that if somebody goes to book a pro,
Yeah.
and that pro's already booked, then people, I think what this question is, hey, it would be nice if somebody could be queued up. So if somebody canceled, they could be notified or get that spot. It's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
All right. Not necessarily for a particular pro, just for a lesson in general.
Yeah, it's something that we could definitely look at in the future, but it's a great idea.
And someone's asking about a lottery.
Again, on our roadmap for the year.
Yes, that one will be available by the end of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all, folks. That's really all this time.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining.
Stay tuned. CourtReserve will continue to listen and continue to develop the features that you guys tell us you need. Have a great day.